All right. How are you doing? Hello, this is Penelope Flynn, your co host and moderator in discussions from the other hood. Here with the remainder of your Blerdsassins Next Door. We have Sonia, James, Cranston, and Otto. Hopefully, Nikki will be jumping in sometime today. And today, our discussion will be regarding whatever happened to morality plays. But before we get started with our morality play discussion, we're going to, of course, talk a little about the weather. So, Sonia, your top center, what's the weather like in your neck of the woods?
It's finally dry. It rained Thursday and Friday, so we had little trick or treaters. Not many trick or treaters.
Oh, no.
Um, Saturday started out a beautiful, glorious sunny day, and then it got grayer. I haven't checked to see if the clouds have followed similar suit today, but it's 50 degrees. Feels like 50. It's supposed to get down to 46 by Wednesday or Thursday.
Wow.
So
Okay. So, I
yeah,
mean,
we're definitely in fall.
right. And how about you,
For
James?
me, it's winter.
Yeah, for you, the same thing, James. You're in New York City.
No, well.
Nope.
First of all, I would like to say greetings from Thunder Alley because every time around this time of year, First Avenue turns into Thunder Alley
Mm.
because as we speak, the marathon is being run.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, um, I mean, it starts early in the morning. You have the people that I guess the word.
The real contenders.
No, no. Actually, they let the people that are disabled go first. Okay, and they, I guess they're souped up, wheelchairs or whatever you want to call it. Then about 10, 11 o'clock, you go to the window. Don't blink your eyes because the top people, the pros, they come by in a flash of light. Okay. Then after that, you get the whole mass of humanity running up First Avenue. And then by 8, 9 o'clock at night, you have before that you have the stragglers. Then 8, 9 o'clock at night, you get people that are just walking, because they really want to finish, which I commend them. And so this is marathon day. Also, believe it or not, Friday Halloween, uh, it was like a massive invasion of ghosts in the subway system.
Were any
Hello?
of them over 3 feet tall?
No,
Well, I mean,
no,
was it like people who are like dressed as ghosts, or
no.
it was
What it was, and I have to commend MTA is that if you looked at the signs telling you how, you know like I don't know, the N train will
mm-hmm.
arrive in like 3 or 4 minutes or something like that.
Uh-huh.
They had actual little digital ghosts.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that's cool.
yeah, I had to commend them. The F train insignia turned into a pumpkin because the F train insignia is orange, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a nice, cute little touch. And then once the train hit West Fourth Street, oh my God, it turned into rush hour because it, it was just a mass of people still in costume.
Oh, wow.
Which I mean, it's cool because it's a young generation and everybody was enjoying themselves. Although I guess a lot of them were partying to the point where you had that sweaty smell.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful fall weekend in New York.
Oh, great. Great. I'm glad to hear that everybody got out and they enjoyed themselves, No rain, nothing like that.
No, no, actually, it's a beautiful, clear day. It's just that it's right now. It's about maybe 49, 50 degrees.
Okay. All right. But I mean, just jacket weather. Good,
Yeah.
heavy jacket weather. All right. Okay. So, how about you, Nikki? How's your weather?
Oh, 1 second. Let me check it out and see. 1 minute. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
1 second.
was it
It
raining
is.
earlier?
Oh no! It is now. Wait, it is now 80 degrees here and it's cloudy.
Okay. Well, 80 degrees is nice, even if it's cloudy. I would take 80. 80
Yeah.
that's
It. I don't know how it feels outside because I'm inside with my fan on.
cool. Well, how about rain? Have you all had any rain?
It's gonna rain later.
Okay, cool. All
Aunt
right.
Dot is really giving the weather report.
Okay. All right. Cool. So she's looking out for you. All right. All right. Okay. And how about Cranston? How's Jacksonville?
It is finally, it's unseasonably fall, and the nights we've had temperatures in the upper 40s, mid, and then by about 10 o'clock, it will warm up into the 70s and stay pleasant
Mm-hmm.
for the day and no rain. But definitely, you need to bring out your jackets and long pants, and,
All right.
not too many people hanging out at the beach this time of year.
Well, how was Halloween?
Over here, where I am, there aren't a lot of kids in the neighborhood, so we had nobody knocking on the door at all. There are, and there are a lot of kids that like live in the area because you see them going to and from the bus stops and that kind of thing, but nobody came out, so it was kind of quiet. There are a lot of people who did, I think, trunk or treats, and
Right. I saw that. So here in
yeah,
this city, they have people saying they're doing trunk or treats too.
yeah. So I guess that's the safer alternative and everything, but
Okay, not to interrupt, but what is trunk or treat? What
trunk
is?
something that was started. I think I don't know if it started here in the South originally, but it was a safer alternative to Halloween and something a little more sensible. Instead of having kids go out and vandalizing people's houses and getting now and later's with razor blades in them and stuff like that, is that usually it was in churches. They would do it in their parking lots. They would have people come and just park their cars out, and they would decorate their cars, and they dress up in costumes. And you just went from car to car collecting candy rather than going house to house collecting candy.
Oh, I'm so sorry I asked. I'm sorry I asked that question.
Yikes.
Okay.
Because that's
Yeah,
the best way
yikes.
to celebrate Halloween is to go up to a stranger's car with his trunk open.
That's the message there. Go to, and so there's a T-shirt that says, uh, I'm not stupid. First, I find out if there's candy, then I get into the van.
That's right.
Okay.
That's lovely. Okay, that's
All
great.
right. All right.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
yeah, I don't. But I mean, nowhere else do they do that trunk or treat thing.
No, they had some churches up here had it too.
Wow.
Last weekend, well, though it was yeah. Instead of Halloween, they did it last weekend,
Yeah, they usually do it before the actual holiday. So
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 kids can go get double treats just in case they can go out on
Right.
Halloween.
Right.
is that a concession by churches that they can't defeat Halloween?
Probably. Probably. That's
yeah,
it. We give up. Halloween is the winner.
it'll
People.
you can do the activity, but that kind of sanitizes it and makes it not as devilish or whatever. Which of course is kind of the whole point of it. But
Yeah.
day Eve, but
It's kind of sad though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's sad. It's pathetic. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
well,
Really.
I agree.
kids an experience of doing it, and then later they can see that well, I didn't go to hell because I went out.
Right. Right. It's just no. It's just trick or treating. No big deal. A lot of people just yeah. They. I have no idea why people freak out over going trick or treating.
Because of the village.
They don't have to go there, man.
But that's what people see on TV, and they, oh my God, look.
But they didn't. But when we were kids, nobody saw that.
It's shown on TV every year.
But I mean, it's not like we go there.
Well,
Whatever happened? Whatever happened to I guess freedom of choice,
Yeah.
or I don't. I just don't get it. And see, it to me is kind of hypocritical because you have people getting indoctrinated by Fox
Hmm.
News about the war on Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
well, the good thing about it is, and nobody, and seems to have fallen out of favor, and nobody said anything about it, but they used to have these hell houses that would come up on
Oh, I remember those.
Halloween, and it would be
Yeah.
like, showing, this is the girl who got an abortion and stuff. She's going to hell. This is the
I
guy
remember that craziness.
I
joined.
don't remember that.
Yeah, I do. They had them
Yeah, I
here.
remember that. Yeah, they tried really hard to put us to stamp out Halloween. They really tried.
Yep.
Yeah. And so those have kind of fallen by the wayside. So it is kind of stepping up. And then also there are a lot of people that are more openly celebrating Halloween and stuff. They're decorating their yards and everything like that. And so it is getting a little bit better and stuff.
so so after after Halloween, isn't it supposed to be All Saints Day?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, isn't All Saints Day a religious holiday?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so why can't people look at it? It's just like you have Mardi Gras, right?
right.
Isn't
Hmm.
that a precursor to
Lynch.
Lent, which is a
But
religious holiday?
but it's celebrated by the Catholics, and we know they are
Yeah.
Catholic. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
That.
I understand that, but I mean it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's a religious
similar.
holiday.
Yeah, I mean you have All Saints Day, and to me Halloween for some people is just like a Mardi Gras type of thing, wouldn't you say?
I
well,
can see it that way. I mean,
people look at Catholicism. People who are not Catholic, and but also call themselves Christian. Look at Catholicism and say that they worship idols.
yeah, it's kind of bizarre, but yeah, that can happen.
Oh well,
It's
yeah.
all because All Souls Day was Saturday the first, or a Sunday the second of All Souls Day, depending on your church. So today would be All Souls Day. I think All Saints Day was Saturday, and All Souls Day I think is today, the Sunday.
But the reverb,
I do not know how that's going on.
Oh, that is neat. I'm working on getting rid of it now.
Okay.
But it's the kind of thing in the South, people were naturally suspicious of Catholics, and a
Hmm.
friend of mine who was a deacon. Yeah, they were naturally suspicious.
Wow, we get a whole lot of reverb, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the parallel universe crashing is coming
Hmm.
through.
that's right. But we talking about Catholics.
Well, he said what would happen is his church.
I think Cranston got to get out and come back
Oh,
in.
you know what it is? Hold on, hold on. I know what it is. It's right here. Right here. All right. Did I remove the wrong Cranston or the right Cranston? I removed the Cranston, so maybe it's the wrong Cranston I removed. Hold on. Okay, now Cranston talk.
Okay. Okay.
Now removed. Okay, how is it now?
Okay, I think we still
So
got the echo me. So
It's still
Okay.
doing it.
If
Okay,
it's
now this one is off. Hold on. Okay, now talk, Cranston.
okay, can you hear me unechoed?
I
we
think
can't.
so.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
better.
Okay.
Okay, what he would do is there was a Catholic church in the neighborhood, and it was also in a neighborhood where the large Baptist mega church was also located. So they would go door to door and say, "Hey, we're in the neighborhood, and this, that, and the other, and stuff, and we're part of the Catholic church around the corner." And 9 times out of 10, the people they were talking to would reply, "But we're Christians."
Okay.
Yeesh.
Well,
Sure thing.
you know this kind of dovetails into what we're talking about with morality
Morality plays, yeah.
Mhm.
because wasn't it? I mean, wasn't it a time on TV or movies or whatever where you had like morality plays about
Hmm.
it, you know, being inclusive
Right, right,
with people that you had
right. And
differences
people,
with.
yeah, and people understanding that people had differences, and you know, and if you didn't support the fact that people just had differences, then you were the bad guy. You know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I can remember a couple of episodes of Gunsmoke
Hmm.
where it was like a morality play where
Right.
the people came to town that were different from other people,
Hmm.
and of course you had the cowboys or the troublemakers of the town
Hmm.
with a with attack or you know go in on the people, and Marshall Dillon had to come in and straighten people out. His usual
Yeah.
thing would be like, listen, these people are out here to live their lives just like you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So cut it out. You
Exactly.
know? Yeah.
And I tell you, like we look now, and I can't really think of anything that we see now that is along those same lines where, you have a drama and they're saying, boy, this person did a bad thing. Not that they did a crime, but they did a bad thing. And we acknowledge this as being a bad thing. And our good guy is the person that steps up and says, you've got to do better. I can't think of too many things off the top of my head that have that.
No, I can't think of anything at all.
I mean, the only
And
thing I can think of was like Star Trek, maybe. But beyond that, I can't think of anything else.
yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. As far as I go, I could only think of Star Trek. Um,
Doctor Who, the last 2 seasons of Doctor Who.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that was mainly because of
Well,
who was portraying the doctor.
Yeah, and I never saw Doctor Who. Like, I didn't watch the last 2 seasons or the
Yeah,
last
there was
30
an
seasons.
episode. Yeah, there was an episode where he essentially rescued these people, but they didn't want to be rescued because of the color of his skin. And
Well, that'll do it.
and his companion, who happened to be the blonde white female, said, "You've got to be kidding me, and you've got to do better." So
Hmm.
that sort of thing ran through Doctor Who. They also did an episode where they came back to 1930s, 1940s, or
Yeah, I saw parts of it.
Miami.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
parts of that.
and that was the whole premise. Is like, if you can't accept, this man's trying to help you, but you won't accept it because of the color of his skin. That's good.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Not. And his companion happened to
well, it
be of
reminds me of,
sub. Yeah.
Excuse me?
No, I was gonna
oh,
say
it
his
reminds me of,
companion happened.
Go ahead, Sonia. Continue, Sonia.
his
Go ahead.
companion happened to be of South Asian descent, so of course she was automatically black,
yeah.
and which didn't help the situation in the story any. But
well, there's a
but
friend
like
of
all
mine
Doctor Who, it eventually turns out.
yeah,
There's a
well,
friend of yours. Go ahead now.
who was
Your turn.
who was yeah, who was a firefighter, and they were talking about, well, what do you do if you have to come and give mouth to mouth to somebody who is really doesn't want you to put your mouth on theirs and everything because you're black. And they say, well, you just lean down close to them and cup your hands and whisper in their ear, "Goodbye, you damn fool," and then you just let it go.
That sounds right. I'm
Well,
can't.
I think the whole thing with Brown plays. I'm just saying this is just me, but I think it started dying out around the late 60s with film and TV because that's when we had started to get into like the anti-hero, so to speak. And nothing for nothing, the generation that was coming up, you know, like me, I guess the last of the baby boomers and the beginning of the Generation X. Unfortunately, at the time, we found morality plays, no matter how well hidden in TV and movies, to be kind of corny, you know. And I think that's when a lot of that with morality plays started going, quote unquote, out of style.
Yeah, but also I think it could also be,
Well, I
people think it's more exciting, to have these stories, like you say, the anti-heroes. But even our anti-heroes, didn't some of them, or some of them, I mean, that they're anti-heroes, that there was still morality in what it is that they
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. I mean, case in point, you look at High Plains Drifter,
Hmm.
with Clint Eastwood.
Hmm.
That was a morality play, and basically the character was an anti-hero, the way he was acting, and cause that was also the fact that some people saw the character as the reincarnation of Clint Eastwood's character's dead brother, who was a sheriff. You know, is supposedly like a ghost or something like that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah, but I think you know around the late '60s, early '70s, it started to become to some people old fashioned or it wasn't hip.
Hmm.
Um, you might have saw some shows after that that still would have a morality play type of story in it every now and
Hmm.
then, but is wow, it's ironic. It's like the Western. The Western by the mid '70s had fell out
Hmm.
of favor.
Or maybe it's also, I mean, we think of things how life became very complex, and I think about this one episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, where the Enterprise and the Federation was told to come in and help this, I guess, this planet, because these people kept coming to their planet and they were acting out and violent or whatever. And after Picard arrived, excuse me, started thinking, it started, started interacting, you realized that these were their own people that they had sent out to fight some war, and basically,
Right. Yeah.
trying to make them into these war machines.
Mhm.
And once they did that, they came back and they didn't want them in their nice, beautiful civilization,
Mhm.
because you're all kind of jacked up, because of all the stuff that's happened to you in the war. So, and it's like, wait a minute, these aren't aliens. These are your own people. What the heck are you
Mhm.
talking about? But
Mhm.
that is one of the last things I can think of that really dealt with, a morality issue. I mean, strongly dealt with a morality issue that I could remember off the top of my head. But I thought, wow, how crazy that was. You're watching this and you're enjoying this show, but then to have them come back and say, wait a minute, these are your own people. What's the deal?
Yeah, which I think was also a statement on how we treated Vietnam veterans. You
Yeah,
know.
and I think that you know
exactly.
the westerns. I didn't like westerns because people walking around with guns on their hip didn't
Hmm.
really resonate with me. But I started to look back at some of these older western shows
Hmm.
on Me TV, like the Rifleman
Hmm.
and Gunsmoke, and the small stuff. It's not really big stuff like huge moral things, but it's subtle things like, for instance, in the Rifleman, uh, McCain takes in a guy who's been in jail and now he's out of jail, and then his son Mark asks the guy a question about what happened. Hey, what happened to your wife? He asked the guy, "You were married. What happened to your wife?" And the Chuck whatever
Kind of.
Connor's character says, don't you're not supposed to ask people about their personal lives. That's not a thing. If he's willing to share that with you, he will. But you're not supposed to ask him about it. And so it's that small. It's not
Yeah.
a huge part of the show. It's like maybe a one-page scene, I guess. but it's the kind of things that we don't have. That's
that
gone.
we grew up with that you weren't
Gone for us.
supposed.
It's like
Certain
you
things are
see,
inappropriate, and other
yeah,
things.
certain things that the media had led us by the nose. I think a lot because you get politicians who feed on that, and then you get politicians who know that for the most part, people don't care about your sexuality or all that stuff.
Hmm.
They just want to know, what are you going to do? Are you going to be able to run the government? Are you going to be able to help them stay above water? Food
Hmm.
and housing and healthcare. But then we get this thing, the first openly fill in the blank politician, the first, this politician. What does that matter? And you're telling me this because you think that this person is XYZ, that means they get a pass on telling me what their actual policies are or how they want to run the
Yeah,
government?
exactly. See, all those things like that. That's
That's
irrelevant.
personal. That's
Yeah,
personal stuff.
exactly. We were taught when we were young that personal stuff should stay personal, and a lot of times now it's just not. People.
It's used. I think, and it's used in a way to lead us by the nose to a certain conclusion that because somebody is black or non-binary or whatever, that they therefore they agree with our politics, and
Right.
that's not
You're right.
and that's it. You fall for it, and so if you're gonna have somebody judge you or have somebody um go into a community, would you rather go with one with the rifleman in it, or would you rather go with one where Clarence Thomas is the sheriff or something? It's
Right.
like,
Right. Say, oh, because he's a black
Well,
guy, then he's going to be, supporting
yeah,
my
that's
position. Say,
not,
no,
yeah,
no. You look at his track record, and no, he's
no.
not.
The track record says otherwise.
Well, that's the same. That's the situation down in Georgia right now. You have a black woman that's running for governor, and she's a piece of work because you can just tell she listen to her in the debates that she's incompetent, but Republicans are trying to spin it that, oh well, just because she's black folks should vote for her.
I said, no,
And
You
so
know,
no.
there's a ridiculous. I saw a picture of her holding a was it, a MR-15 or whatever the assault
Hmm.
rifle is, because she's
AR.
pandering
Yeah.
AR-15. She's pandering to the NRA people.
Hmm.
But getting back to the whole moral thing, yeah, I mean, those shows that we're talking about, the Rifleman,
Hmm.
Bonanza,
Hmm.
Gunsmoke, they the characters were held to a very high standard.
Hmm.
You know, I
I
can
mean,
remember.
well, remember that one episode
Uh huh.
where who was it? Was it William Marshall? Who was it?
Right,
That was
Bonanza. Yeah.
yeah, Bonanza, and he was a singer, and they were saying, well, if he could sing, whatever, and then was it the dad? He says, well, but all those people can sing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Remember
but
that?
yeah, I remember that. But the thing is, though,
I remember that one.
yeah,
Mhm.
the thing is, though, is that these people, the Rifleman, Gunsmoke, Bonanza,
Mhm.
they didn't get everything right. But I feel like if you're wrong, or let me tell you why you're wrong,
Right.
and they would listen, right? And they
Mhm.
would say, "Oh, well, I mistook that for whatever I didn't know." I
Mhm.
think that's different than what you see on today's TV and movies, and what you see in the public is my stance is my stance. There's no debate about it. There's no questioning about it. It is what it is. It's like, America, love it or leave it. I always thought that was a stupid saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, that
We,
was that.
yeah, we're
Oh
locked
yeah,
into we're locked into that. America, love it and leave it. Understand? I could love my parents, but I could also criticize them.
yeah.
It doesn't take away from my love for my parents or my
Right.
wife or
I
Yeah.
spouse,
mean,
whatever.
there was an episode of Bonanza.
Mhm.
which was supposedly right at the start of the Civil War, and it was a very it was very hard episode because Adam. Okay, Adam. Anybody that knows Bonanza, he was born in New England.
Yes.
Okay,
The eldest son.
and his eldest son, and he was talking about he was gonna go. No, actually, they were debating about North and South. Of course, he being a New Englander sided with the North, while Michael Landon's character, Little Joe, being that he was born in New Orleans, were he was talking about it got they were having an argument to the point where Adam is like, screw this, I'm gonna go back up to New England and enlist in the
Mhm.
army.
Yeah.
And Little Joe was like, well, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna go down south to New Orleans and enlist in the Confederacy, you know.
Mhm.
And what it was, what I thought that was cool about the whole episode was that debate,
Mhm.
that debate, and both brothers presented their side of the argument. Of course, I felt Little Joe was full of shit,
Of
but
course.
of course, but yeah, that's how these whole morality plays were back back then. And another quick thing with Gunsmoke, it was what's it, Yapikoto, okay, his family, black family, they came into town, and Marshall Dillon came up to them and he was kind of harsh, asked the question, well, what are y'all doing here? How long you staying? Blah blah blah. And I, as a black person, felt like, well, why is he going in on them like that? But then I realized that Marshall Dillon did that to everybody. He didn't care whether you were black, white, or whatever, purple. When you came to town, that's his question. What are you doing in town? How long you plan to stay? And especially, God
Mhm.
help you, if you came there in town holding a whiskey bottle, he would really like, listen, you say you're here for 2 days, by two
Mhm.
days be gone. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I like I said, I think by the mid 70s, I'm gonna say at that point, by maybe the mid 70s, the whole morality thing in TV shows, like I said, people felt it was passe.
Mhm.
And when you look at it, then you had decades going into other decades, the Breaking Bad
Mhm.
um era, you
Yeah.
know,
And also, I think we think about it. We went into like the police kind of stuff,
right?
where with Dragnet was very interesting because we just started
Right.
watching it. Really like the last year or so that we actually
Uh-huh.
watched it as adults. And in Dragnet, especially the ones at the beginning of the civil rights movement, where
Oh
they're
yeah,
Hmm.
trying
Dragnet.
to,
They call it
yeah,
Dragnet 1968. That's what they call it.
yeah,
Yeah, the Harry Morgan period.
Yeah, I mean it
Yeah.
was. You get ready to say, Penelope. I know what you're going to get ready to say,
yeah.
but
Go ahead, go on.
yeah, I think it shows that the L.A. Police Department. We all know what they were up to. We know what they were doing
Mhm,
during 1968, during the riot, so-called quote unquote riots in Watts and everything else, the kind of police brutality they were handed down. But you got the Jack Webb series that basically is a counter to that and saying that
Hmm.
the police department should do better, can do better,
yeah.
interact with the African American community. It
And I
had
mean, in the community as a whole,
the community as
because
a whole, right?
and
Exactly.
the one episode I recall is standing out to me was where a police officer. I mean, were black people involved. It's all white people involved, but the police officer got upset, because the guy was baiting him and acting like a jerk, and he put hands on him. And of course, we have the two officers who do have to deal with this, And basically, when this young man was put up for what is it, his discipline, then he said, "Well, you should be disciplined." He said, "Because you're supposed to serve and protect. You're not supposed to put your hands on people that you're supposed to be serving and protecting. You had, no matter what they said, no matter what they did, you had no right
Hmm.
to put your hands on people that are expecting that they are going to be served and protected by you." So I thought it was really interesting, that and you thought that they would say, well, he's really a good cop, and he has a great career ahead of him, blah blah blah. And but that's no excuse. It said you knew what your job was, and you knew you're not supposed to put your hands on this guy, but you did it anyway because you were upset. So that doesn't absolve you of the responsibility to serve and protect. So I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and I think there was another episode where it was a black cop, black detective, and they're interrogating this white guy, and the white guy says and does a lot of racial stuff to him. In fact, I think he was chewing on some matchsticks or something,
Mm-hmm.
and he just swiped it across the table at the black detective. But the black detective, you know, was calm about it and held his head and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Joe Friday, he was like, when they leave the interrogation room, he's like, thank you, you held your head. And I think the black detective said something like, yeah, well, I get that all the time, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that, I have to restrain myself, because I really don't want to do what I
Mm-hmm.
want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, and like I said, a lot of shows, you know, oh, what's another show? Maybe the courtship of Eddie's father.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
the discussion and the dialogue between uh,
right.
Eddie and his father, telling Eddie trying to explain things. I mean, his
Hmm.
father trying to explain things to Eddie, and then you had a lot of westerns, but you also had a lot of doctor shows. Like
Mm-hmm.
I started to watch stuff like even before I was born, the really good morality plays like Ben Casey. Now I heard of the Ben Casey.
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid, like reruns. I didn't pay any attention to them at all because, like James said, people thought they were kind of corny and kind of outdated.
Hmm.
But I think writers and Hollywood and producers, they've abandoned that kind of writing, that kind of let's put morality in it. Is there a line that you won't cross, or is there a line, regardless of your talent or how much money you have, that you're not allowed to cross. You're going to be treated just like everyone else, regardless of how much status or money or whatever you have. You cross this line, you're subject to being handcuffed and then frog hopped into jail.
Right.
Or if you're a doctor and you do something unethical or whatever, or you refuse to service a black a patient or something, then you're going to lose your privileges at the hospital. Something bad is going to happen to you. So that was a thing in our
Mm-hmm.
in our in our in our dramas.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, you also had some morality plays in MASH.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, absolutely. I
yeah.
remember episode. I watched the episode. Was it a couple of months ago? Penelope and I
Mm-hmm.
watched an episode where there was this Korean kid. No, was he Korean? Yeah, Korean kid, and he wanted one of the doctors to do plastic surgery on him to make his eyes round. And the reason he wanted to make his eyes round is because he said that when he was like 13, like pre-puberty or just entering puberty, but he said when he has round eyes, then the girls will like him and he'll be more successful and et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Hawkeye and I forgot the other guy's name. They wouldn't
BJ.
BJ. Yeah.
they wouldn't perform it, and they told him why they wouldn't perform the operation. You can't have that discussion today.
Yeah.
You can have that discussion on a it's a comedy show, but it has It has a moral center.
Right.
Right,
Right.
right.
Have that on the idiotic shows that you have today reflect our idiocy, right? We watch for like 30 years. We watch shows like Friends and The Big Bang Theory, and while they
Hmm.
may have been funny and etc., but they had no moral center. You
Yeah.
know, James said Breaking Bad. Get rich at all costs as 50 Cent. Yeah,
Married with children.
yeah, they're
A
very
bit married, a bit, I look at something married with children, and that was just meant to
they're
be
funny shows.
silly. It meant to
They're
be
funny
silly.
shows, but
Yeah,
they don't have at their core. They don't
yeah.
have this. Is you shouldn't do that. That shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
should happen because even a show like Sanford and Son, which is laugh out loud funny, you
Hmm.
still have Fred has a moral center.
Yeah,
There's lines he won't cross. You know,
yeah. And
moral.
there's,
Man,
he
Yeah.
does stuff for people like, with the young woman whose husband, she had left, she was having the baby, and she was away from her husband, and he had some, old fashioned, values about
Yeah,
that, but
well,
still,
he would have put the woman on the street,
of course
but
not, because
but
that's not a
but you
thing you do.
yeah, but you
But
have shows today when if the young woman was like that and she was put out on the street, nobody would take a second glance at it.
well, you know what I think it was that at one point in this country, whether it was movies and especially TV shows, writers were writing stuff
Hmm.
that it was for the common good.
Right.
Okay, for the common good, for the common goodness in everybody. Okay, you had some characters on TV that were like rough around the edges, you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, they had it was for the common good. And that's
Right.
like
They weren't perfect.
they weren't perfect. Fred
Hmm.
Sanford wasn't perfect, but he still had somewhere in his heart he has some type of humanity.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, humanity and respect. There were lines that he wouldn't cross. There's some
Yeah.
things he said that were, on the edge, on the periphery. But when push come to shove, Fred Sanford would, step up and do the right thing. You always knew he was going to
Hmm.
do the right thing, and so you don't have
Or if he didn't do the right thing, he would be punished somehow by the
he got
universe.
called out on his
Karma
bullshit.
will
He got
karma
called
will
out on
get
his
him.
BS. Oh, there was always Lamont, who was this like Jiminy Cricket, conscious or something.
Hmm.
They're telling him about stuff. The way he treated the Gregory Sierra character, the Puerto Rican,
Hmm. His neighbor.
yeah, his neighbor, the way he treated him, and Norman Lear, has a lot to pay for, as far as I'm concerned, because this even the stuff Archie Bunker. I know people say, well, Archie, I like Archie, he has a good heart, and blah blah blah. I see that show as a really, and people are going to disagree with me. I see that show as a bad show because I think a lot of people look at television not as if it's entertainment, but as an almost documentary. That it's okay to say some of the things that
Right.
says,
Yeah.
and but he has a good heart. It's like you always get these people who say racist things now, and you get somebody like a Whoopi Goldberg or whatever, whoever the designated Negro is, to come in and say,
Hmm.
I know X. He said, yeah, he said racist things, but I know his heart. He's no racist at his heart. He just said the wrong thing. No, he's a racist.
Well, you know what? You know what? I understand completely what you're saying because yeah, I saw some episodes where Archie Bunker did have a heart, but at the end of the day, growing up, I was never
Hmm.
ever comfortable with All in the Family.
Hmm.
I was never comfortable with it. Okay, and like I said, I saw some episodes where Archie had some humanity. I felt for him when Edith passed away, but no, I was never comfortable. In fact, I can remember at that time growing up, um, a friend of mine, his twin sisters, they were marching around wearing T-shirts saying Archie Bunker for president.
Yeah,
Okay,
Hmm.
and I was like,
and that's
what?
what we got.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and
I think
now,
Queens, right?
Yep.
yeah, and mind you, you even had people that you felt were kind of on the dark side, but you still had the morality play, and that's with Have Gun Will Travel.
Yeah, have
Mm-hmm.
done with travel.
Okay, I mean Powelton, he was the prototype bad guy because he wore black all the time and whatnot, and he give you his business card, and you look
Yep.
at it like da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And
He
he
blew the
tell you
ball. He
if
blew the
you're in a bar with him and you spoiling for a gunfight, he tell you, listen, you don't want to do that with me.
right, but they
Hmm.
don't say that now. I mean, the thing is also human life has
Yes.
become
Cheap.
cheap, and you put that along all this stuff along with a show called Cops. Remember Cops?
Oh Lord.
Oh. And you put all this stuff together, and it just shows you, it used to Dragnet. The criminals used to be Anglo. Most of the criminals used to be Anglo, if not all of them on the show, because this country we only make up 20 some percent of the population. We can't be all the criminals,
Yep.
but on a show like Hill Street Blues, we are all the criminals.
Yeah,
It's all it's all
Hmm.
it's all us in some way like and our faces are really shiny and greasy, and we could barely talk or communicate. And
Hmm.
going back to All in the Family, you talk about Archie, but you also have to talk about Mike Stivic.
Yeah.
Remember the episode where Mike Stivic is competing with African American man for a job,
Hmm.
and then Mike doesn't get the job, but the African American guy gets the job. And
Yeah.
the now that's said in that show, the writers and Norman Lear, if he's still alive, should be embarrassed the things they say.
Hmm.
The things they say to justify the black guy, getting the job. Basically saying that the guy got the job only because he was black. In all circumstances being equal, Michael should have gotten the job. And
Well, I
so,
I saw it differently. I thought it's in all circumstance, all things being equal, that they were equal. But the issue is we want to make a change in this world. And as a result, you don't get the job because we have other things we're thinking about beyond that.
yeah, I saw it differently. I saw it as, patronizing, liberals patronizing black people. To say that
Well,
the reason that you're in the
in
contest at all is only because you're black. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be considered.
well, in
Yeah,
that
but the issue
episode,
is, okay, go ahead.
but in that episode, the guy said because that was that way of leveling the playing field. It said so that's why we had to do that. So it's going to inconvenience you, but
You'll
he
be
deserves
Say,
fine.
it just
say
as
that
well.
today.
So yeah.
Try to say that today.
no, I
Yeah.
saw I
Imagine
saw
try
the
that today.
I saw the same episode, and I just saw it as Norman Lear shining the spotlight on liberals.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't see it as that. I thought Mike being angry and basically confronting the black guy, saying, "Oh, well, you know how things are. This now it's your turn. You get black because you got the job because you're black, and I'm white, and that's the way things are now. That's the way things are done now." And the black guy says, "Well, yeah, for X number 100 years, it was done a different way, and now it's done this way now."
And
I
I'm not
just
going to, the black guy's like, no, I'm not going to be sorry or sad that
right.
you
hmm
didn't get the job because he would not have been sorry or sad if he got the job and the other guy didn't get it.
I find it so patronizing. I find
no,
it so.
I just to me, I just felt that Norman Lear was showing the spotlight on liberals because it was a couple of episodes where he kind of took it off for Archie and put it on Mike. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
just saw it as being, listen, if you people are with us, practice what you preach. Don't say one thing and then do something else.
or
you
that
know.
it's only okay if it doesn't affect me.
Right,
Right,
right.
right.
But
Because
Yeah.
see that's and see this is how things start to get complicated, you know, as television and film went, things started to get complicated, and it was it's just change.
well, I feel
Unfortunately, some things changed
right. But
for the
I feel it's a way, an excuse for white people, whether they would be liberal or conservative, to say, well, uh, there, there's a you got to take away from me in order to give to you, and so
But the
why
thing
should
is, but that comes with that perspective that somehow the position belonged to them in the first
right,
place.
right,
And
right,
so,
and
like
I
even
think
Mike,
I think that episode is exactly like that. I think that
yeah,
episode supports that idea.
yeah, that Mike believed
It's,
that
yeah,
simply because the position existed,
right,
that like I say, if all things remaining equal, my whiteness tips the scale in my favor. That's what he
yeah,
thought,
yeah, and I think
and
that
had no problem with it as
right,
long as that's the way that it was done. But
right.
once the scale is tipped in the opposite direction and favor someone who is not white, now there's a problem, you know?
Right, and you get the movement today where white people think that they're suffering because
Hmm.
their seat in a college or job or something, their seat is being taken by a person, a black person, not
Right.
even a person, but a black person. And so, they would be admitted to Harvard if it wasn't for me being there taking their seat.
And understand that there's how much, like, there's only like 12, 13 seats taken by black people at Harvard. So why are you not complaining about the seats that were taken by the whites that you didn't get? Why aren't you
or
complaining about those seats?
or the legacy people.
Or
Yeah.
the legacy people, or the people that just gave huge donations,
Right.
or did whatever else they did, because understand that they don't even, shows like that don't even show you how universities work, right? So
Hmm.
where a university admits people and they use quote unquote affirmative action, there are not enough black students to go around to fill the
Hmm.
so-called seats, right?
Right.
So the affirmative action, like on the show, the Paper Chase, right?
Hmm.
Where the white guy said, "Oh, the black student got here to Harvard Law School because of her color of her skin," and Professor Kingsfield said, "Well, you got here because you're from Iowa."
He said maybe you need to look at what those what the rules are relating who it is that has a who's brought here with relaxed standards, and those people from where he's from too. And
Right,
so
but
now you feel a little bit different
and
but
about
and
but
yourself,
let me say this quickly. You see, people talk about relaxed standards, relaxed standards, relaxed standards. There's no relaxed standards. What are they talking about? Relaxed
Right?
standards?
It's not. Well, you're
That's a
right. It's not a
proposition.
relaxed standard. It wasn't a relaxed standard. Let me correct
No,
myself.
it's not you.
That
No, I'm not correcting you.
people who are sought out. Because, for instance, I knew that when I was applying, I looked at certain schools and I realized what are they looking for. So if they are an East Coast school, they're looking for people that come from the West Coast. They want somebody who has a different point of view. If the person in the East Coast, they're looking for somebody from Central, America, not Central America, but the center of the United States, plains and stuff. Someone
Midwestern.
with a different point of view, and they're trying to get people with different types of point of view to bring into the school.
but
And and
a lot of people don't know it. But when it comes to colleges, you have some states that have programs for scholarship, affirmative action, or whatever you want to call it,
hmm
programs for whites.
yeah,
Because for decades, Michigan, okay, if you were there's two parts of Michigan. There's the lower
hmm
part, like, the Detroit area and
hmm
all that,
yeah,
Wayne University. Then you have what they call Superior, which is the upper part. Okay, it's
hmm
kind of a peninsula, and for years, decades, they had a scholarship program that if you were a white male from that area of Superior
hmm
in Michigan, you would get in college with no problems, no problems at all. I think though a lot of this with affirmative action on it, you trace that to Baki,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
When you trace it to him, you know, and that was during the time of what I call the conservative backlash with
Mhm.
Reagan and all of that there and Baki. And when you look at it, television shows, the media and all that started to change
Start to change.
during that
Mhm.
backlash. You
Yeah,
know,
it start
and
to change.
so
You watch shows like, shows that try to keep a moral center, and
Mhm.
it's difficult to keep them, have shows like that, keep them on the air, like a show like Saint Elsewhere, right?
Right.
As
right.
opposed to a show like Hill Street Blues, which I know Penelope hates that show. You know,
Yes.
that shows
I
all the
watched it when I was a kid, though. I
I did too.
watched it.
I
And
did
then I
too.
look back and say, you know what piece of trash? Why did
I
my
thought it was
parents even
quality
allow me to watch this
television.
garbage?
I thought it
You
was
know?
quality television. I thought I was watching something
Yeah.
good. I
Well,
was
I didn't like it because where the fuck was, excuse my French, but where the fuck was Saint Elsewhere? Don't give me a generic city,
it's
Yeah.
in
It
Boston.
was
okay?
in
It,
Boston.
it was in Boston.
Well, you know what? If it
You
was in Boston, I never knew it because
never knew
Yeah.
they
it was in
It
must
was in
have
Boston,
whispered.
Boston.
I never knew it was in Boston.
They
but it
always
used to
said it was
talk
in
In
about.
Boston.
fact, the police cars and the uniforms you add they look like they was in Chicago.
It's in Boston because they always talk about, Boston
Boston
General.
General.
Always
They'll
talks
say because
about
Boston General was getting all the money and they weren't getting any
right,
money.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
I must say, and but it's like this. I really just couldn't get into it, and maybe the times that I did watch it,
You should watch it.
um, no, no,
I recommend it because of
no.
this.
Listen. To me, I lost a couple of hours of my life when it first came on.
Yeah.
I just could never get into it.
I would say if you're not interested, other people should watch it because it is like hanging on by your fingernails, like on a ledge. Morality plays, morality stuff, like lines you won't cross, and
Right.
things that people get straightened out, you know, for their racism and sexism. They get straightened out, and so you're not having those kind of conversations on a lot of the other shows, like you said, during the Reagan administration and all this move to conservatism. It just
Oh
you
yeah.
see the shows just move, like, not slowly but kind of quickly
Yeah. Remember
move.
Family
Even the
Ties?
comedy, like Family Ties, and Alex P. Keaton is showed as
Hmm.
smart and money. He's interested in
But
money, and
first they see him as an asshole. But
right,
then as time moves on, they
the
start to
lovable,
be the lovable conservative, you
right.
know?
William Buckley with a heart.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna
Well,
fight
Okay.
But
everything that supports.
well, the thing I think that we have to remember is that the heyday of all those westerns and those early cop shows and everything was the 1950s and mid 60s, and that was only 10 to 15 years after World War II.
Hmm.
And at that time, the United States was coming into its own as a world power because we were not. Prior to World War II, we were not a world power.
That's
We were
right.
kind of in the second tier, but it was still Europe that had everything. But now we were the world power, and we what we said pretty much go. But the thing that we had at the same time that you would sit there and watch Cheyenne and all of these other Confederates, and that's the thing that struck me one day. Says, why are so many of these guys ex-Confederates?
Hmm.
Um, and there was this one show that and there were so many westerns till there was a western for every genre, and I think the wildest one was there was one western where the lead was a one-armed gunslinger.
Okay. I don't remember that show.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
remember the name of it?
I can look it up because one of my coworkers, she loved westerns, and that's what she would do. She would sit in the back
Oh
on
my
her
God.
phone and watch all of these westerns. But there was this one called The Rebel,
Oh
and
yeah.
um, and the thing was, this is, so I remembered it vaguely, but I'm thinking about it. Okay, so this was another displaced Southerner who actually still
Mhm.
wore the
Hmm.
infantry uniform of a Confederate soldier. And his backstory was that he fought for the Confederacy, but after the war, he decided to move away from it and go out west to right wrongs. And I'm thinking when I read that, I said, well, wait a minute. If he wanted to right wrongs and he fought for the Confederacy, he could have just stayed home and did that. He didn't have to go all the
Exactly.
way out in the West to do that and everything. But you had all these things with these nice little things that were rounded up, and a lot of the justice was just so arbitrary. There's an episode of The Lone Ranger where some guy had, well, the bad guy had done something bad, of course, and when they caught him and the ranger turned him into the sheriff just announced that we're just going to go ahead and hang you next week. No trial, no due process. We're just going to say, hey, you're the bad guy. You're going to get hung. Justice has been served.
Wow.
Um, so you'd watch all of these things, and everything would end up, nice and neat up in a bow and everything. And then you turn on the news, and you see people going to Vietnam, and people
Mm.
getting water hoses turned on them, and dogs turned on them, and that kind of thing. And then you realize then it's going to happen to you one day, and you realize, oh, wait a minute, they're telling me all of this stuff goes one way, and
Hmm.
that has
Hmm.
not
Mhm.
been my experience. So I think that's when these shows kind of fell out of favor.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
the big turning point was, of course, Watergate, when you believe that government was just like those commercials on Schoolhouse Rock. I'm just a bill and that kind of thing, and you
Right.
realize no, that doesn't work that way. And so that's where the morality plays kind of changed a bit, in that you find out that not all the time do the good guys win. Not all the time is justice served, and people got a little bit more cynical and a little more disappointed, and that's where it kind of went the other way. And
Yeah.
then when politics began to seep into everyday life back in the old Lee Atwater days and all of that, that was pretty much the end of it right there.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to what I was saying. By the late '60s, early '70s, it was just out of fashion
Hmm.
because what was going on in the '60s, like you said, with Vietnam. I mean, how can you watch westerns and maybe World War II TV shows or whatever, and you know you go over to Vietnam and it's something completely different.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Okay,
I
it's
think
something.
also, yeah, with Vietnam, people started realizing how much industry and economics and power and money had to do with sending young people to war.
Yeah,
Right.
and think about it. What you just said. Not only was industry sending people to war with the military industrial complex, they were also the sponsors of a lot of these TV shows.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the genre could change. I understand you using westerns, and I didn't like them growing up and watching them anyway. I didn't like Gunsmoke or any of that stuff because I couldn't relate to it. But the moral center, the morality of it, the fact that you have a show like Mannix, or you had a show like some of the detective shows where they had a moral center, or the morality show. It's like you can be cynical. We as we grow up, we're children, and we listen to everything our parents say, and then we become older, we preteens, we kind of question a little bit, and then we become young adults. We understand our parents a little bit more and more. But the way that it is now is that love it, America, love it or leave it. That's the preeminent posture that a lot of people take, and so as a result, you know Daddy can't do anything wrong. Whatever Daddy does is right. You know,
Yeah,
if
and it
Daddy pushes me
echoes
around, yeah,
and it
Daddy pushes
echoes like
me around when
the
I need
religious
it.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the concept you can't question God.
You can't
So
question authority.
yeah.
You
Well, the
can't
thing
question
is
authority.
that the moral censor has gotten so crazy because I forgot who it was when they were talking about the this government shutdown, and there was somebody from the administration who had said, and I said, well, how do these people say these things? Do they really believe this stuff? But he said essentially that the fact is you're going to go without SNAP benefits and you're not going to get paid for doing your work and everything like
I
that.
mean, I'm
But,
sorry, but what the hell is it? And then if you want to say on the one hand that you're, for business and people working and getting paid for their job, but maybe they don't care about people getting paid for their jobs. They only
mhm.
care about business getting money, but not people being paid. Because how do you have people go to work and they don't get paid? That's just bullshit.
Yeah, but
Well,
they get
no,
paid.
no, because
Senators
he
and Congress
said,
people, senators and Congress people get paid.
well,
Hmm.
They
yeah,
get paid, and nobody changed the system. No one has come up, Democrat or Republican, had come up with a system that said basically, if federal workers don't get paid, if the government shut
Then
down, you don't pay.
yeah, because
Your
they're
well,
federal
business
no,
will
workers.
well, this is the thing that they said about it, and this is what this guy had said. That he said essentially, if you're complaining about not getting paid because of what they're doing, then you're not patriotic because this was World War II when you had to ration sugar and all this kinds of stuff. You know, you were doing it for the good of the country. But if you're just whining about not being able to pay your rent or buy food for your kids and stuff, well, you're
Yeah,
not being patriotic.
and that's
Hmm.
an inability to understand history and not being taught history, because that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I heard that, and the media is leading us to that kind of conclusion because of the shows that they show, and also because of the news that they report. I saw a New York Times article today that talked about SNAP benefits being, cut off during this weekend. And so I clicked on the story, and the first picture they showed was a black woman with kids.
Hmm.
Every
Hmm.
single time, every single time they talk about SNAP benefits and government benefits, it's a black woman with children.
Yeah.
And that is not who the majority of these benefits go to. But why is it that you watch the news or you read a news story online, it's a black woman with children, and why aren't people talking about that?
It's
Hmm.
a, it's every dog whistle you could imagine in one picture. Okay, so she doesn't have a job, so that's what she's waiting for a check. B, where's the father of the kids? C, um, um, you know, um, everything, whatever else and stuff is taking the benefits from somebody who deserves it. And
You believe all
D,
those things into it.
yeah, and that's that all that because that's it's all understood.
All
Right.
those things.
Right.
It's
Why don't you
kind of
show the
like,
truth? Why don't you show the true number of people who are not African American women with children who are not getting it? I mean, they're saying that we only 12% of the population at best, right? So that's
Hmm.
about 20 million black people, man, woman, and child.
Hmm.
Okay, they're saying the SNAP benefits, if the SNAP benefits cut off, it affects 42 million people. So that means that every single black person in this country is using food stamps and SNAP benefits, and then some more. We got some other black people too, multiplied by two, that are using SNAP benefits because apparently, according to the news media, what I see on the news, if I was from another country and I saw SNAP benefits, I'm thinking this is a black program.
Right.
And if I'm a racist person, I said screw them. That's what they get from being black.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's only if you go with traditional media. I mean, I've seen other news sites where they had a white woman. I think she had like 7 kids, and they
Hmm.
show her in Costco. And what does she do? She pulls out her EBT card. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you look at,
I think a lot more.
yeah,
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go
No,
ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you look now, people are turning away from all the mainstream TV and broadcast stuff and going to the internet, which is where more truth is coming out,
I would
especially
disagree. I
morality shows.
I don't think so. I
I
think
don't
when
think
you
so.
get to
And
the
the
problem is
reason
with
it's
the
called
internet.
mainstream,
Go
the
ahead.
reason it's called mainstream is because it's mainstream. So you may have alternate views of the news and stuff, but millions of people still watch the CBS Evening News.
But their
Although,
numbers are keep going down and down
Well,
and down and
what
No,
I
down.
well,
think what
I
I think the problem is
it's
when you're
not.
talking
That's
about
not.
people going online because people will look for the news that supports their narrative,
And
right.
I'm
because
talking
their
and I'm
position
talking
is
about
not
and I'm talking
necessarily
about
truth.
I'm talking about the New York Times. I'm not
Hmm.
talking about
No, well, I
Facebook. Millions
no,
of people are going to go to New York Times website to get their news, and you're going to get some much smaller number going to Facebook or
no,
whatever.
no. Listen to what I'm getting ready to say. I think both both of y'all, both sides are correct because first of all, you can't believe everything you say on the internet. With AI these days, AI has made it where you have a person that you think is human, is not. Okay, so understand that. But on the other side, if you go to like channels, especially on YouTube, like local television channels,
Hmm.
okay, like a local ABC affiliate in say Seattle, or a local NBC affiliate in Philadelphia. That's where you pay attention because these are the local stations that disseminated news. Okay, so both you guys are right. Both you guys are right. If you go to certain sites on the internet, like I said, local TV stations, I think with local TV stations you get a clearer picture.
Hmm.
Okay, and on the other side, I listen. I spend my time correcting bullshit on YouTube because half the time people will put a video out. Like I think I told you guys, I saw a video about the actor William Powell, and it's showing a picture of Ernie Kovacs.
Yeah, they're not. They're
Hmm.
not. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
AI not getting it right. But I
Yeah.
think if you have Fox,
Well,
if you have Fox, or you have MSNBC, and you have CNN, they would give their right leg to have the ratings or the number of eyeballs that are watching the CBS evening or NBC or ABC evening news. They
Hmm.
don't even get that kind of viewership.
Well, shame on anybody that goes to Fox. I wouldn't even go to Fox
But I'm just saying,
to. I
just
wouldn't even
for
go to
people.
Fox to get a roll of toilet tissue to use the
Right,
bathroom.
I'm
But
saying, Fox, cheers about its number of people and how many people, how many eyeballs hit their network or whatever it is called, but it pales in comparison to the viewership of CBS, NBC, and ABC Evening News. It just does, and more people are
Yeah.
watching it.
But now the issue is you have these
Whoa, whoa,
crazy
whoa, whoa! Wait a
individuals
minute.
who are
Wait,
running CBS News. So
wait a
that's
Right.
minute. You're telling me that Fox doesn't have as much viewers as CBS, NBC, and ABC?
News, yes, they don't.
No, no,
They
I
don't.
disagree with that
No,
totally.
the numbers say. Look it up.
No,
They don't.
Fox has more people watching their bullshit than any other news outlet in the
They
country.
don't.
Just like, believe it or not, the paper with the most circulation in this country is not the New York Times. It's the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, which is behind a paywall. Which is
No,
behind
no,
a paywall.
I'm talking, and see, I've seen this for myself. Okay, working in the financial district for close to 20 years a while back. Every day, the financial houses, whether back then, whether it was Bear Stearns, Merrill Lynch, um, whatever financial houses, the Wall Street Journal would come with their truck, and for every financial house, they would have like literally thousands of copies that they give away.
Mm-hmm.
And why do they give it away? Because Murdoch, even though his son runs stuff now, Murdoch had deep pockets. He could take the loss. That's
Yeah,
why his.
but
That's
my
why his ass. That's why
that
his
proves
ass.
my point.
Listen,
But I'm saying that's what I'm
But I'm
saying.
telling you,
Hold on, I'm saying to you, Fox is a cable news channel.
right?
ABC, CBS, and NBC news is free, and so they're going to have more viewers. They do have more viewers
But
than
Fox,
Fox has.
but Fox, my friend, is free too. Okay, Fox not only has. I don't know how long you've been away from New York, but Channel Five and Channel Nine in New York are both owned by Fox. They first of all, Fox bought WNEW. They bought WNEW a long time ago. Okay, from Metro Media. That's a Fox
Yeah, I,
affiliate.
I get it.
Then
I get it.
with
But
then with Channel Nine, the former WOR, or they call it My Nine or whatever that is. Fox had their lobbyists go to Washington and kill that FCC law that made it against the law for
I get
corporations.
all. I
Mm-hmm.
understand all that. But
Yeah,
ABC, CBS, and NBC News has more viewers than Fox does. And Fox wish they could have had the number of viewers that ABC, NBC, and CBS has. And that's why Trump focused on CBS. And that's why CBS now has this. What is her name? I forgot this
Barry
lady's name.
Weiss.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
that's why she's
Yeah,
taking over the editorship of
yeah.
that industry of that particular station. If they thought that as many people watch the CBS Evening News as watch Fox, they wouldn't give a damn about CBS News.
No, I'm telling you.
Well, I
I
saw. I mean, I saw an article saying that over the summer that Fox had more viewers, but during the summer.
listen.
Somebody look it up and prove me wrong because
Yeah,
the
I
Well,
the
saw
I'm
one.
gonna tell you straight up.
I saw a Forbes article.
I'm gonna tell you straight up. As far as cable goes, as far as cable goes, Fox has taken that over. They took that over a long time. Okay, they took that over a long time. Now,
yeah,
if you're,
and I don't care because the thing is, it's still cable.
I
People
don't
have to
care
pay.
neither, but I'm just telling you what it is, what it is. I don't care neither because I cut my cable cords a long time ago.
I still got mine. I still got my. We still have we still on cable. I don't watch Fox News unless I want to see something, and I'm gonna see what some
Yeah.
crazy crap that they're saying. I know Penelope hates
Hmm.
it, but I still watch it, and the reason I watch it is because I want to know what my enemy is saying. I
Yeah.
just know.
Well,
And
I
so
was just looking now. They're saying 2024, the most watched networks in 2024 by total viewership is CBS is first, NBC second, ABC is third, Fox is fourth, Fox News is fifth, ESPN is sixth, MSNBC is seventh, then Univision, Telemundo, Ion, TNT, and Hallmark.
just by straight eyeballs, that's what it is because
Hmm.
it's the easiest thing that people fall into, and that's why they want to control it. And that's why Trump is so it was so perplexed, not perplexed, but just apoplectic. Well, what do you call it? Uh, angry at George Stephanopoulos and
About echo chambers, like
Hmm.
you
yeah,
said, Otto, that I was talking with a friend. He's a reasonably intelligent person, usually informed, and I knew that she has relatives who live in Chicago. Her mother lives there. Her brother lives there. She has aunts and other people who live there. So I asked her. I said, and they'd had the things. I think Kimmel had a thing where in all the cities that were supposed to be so bad and stuff, he had people sending in footage of all to show that it wasn't what the administration was saying was going on. So I asked her, "So, well, what do your people up there say about what's going on?" And she said, "Oh, it's terrible. It's awful. It's horrible." And I said, "Are we talking about the same place?" And I said, "Well, if she said, she just said, I saw it online." Well, where exactly did you see it online to come up with this? And whatever echo chamber she fell into and stuff, it's going to tell her what's going on, regardless of what you can find objectively somewhere else.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and see, listen, listen. When it comes to echo chamber and all that, that's that was created by Fox. That was created by Fox because Fox, the Fox network, okay, all of that came from people that wanted people to say what they were afraid to say. Okay, when people would when Bob Grant used to get on the radio and say he went to Rush Limbaugh. Then after Rush Limbaugh, in fact, Rush Limbaugh for a while, I don't know why, had a show on Fox. Okay, and this is all a part of that backlash that started really in the 80s.
Hmm.
Okay, and if we're looking for personally, I don't even really bother with legacy media anymore.
Hmm.
Okay, because they done kissed the ring. Okay, Stephanopoulos and ABC kissed the ring. The minute I found out that Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski went down right after the election to meet with Trump, who Trump was saying nasty stuff about her the year before the election. Okay, once you had CBS with this guy now that's getting ready to take over, and see that woman that they're talking about in that's supposed to take over CBS. Okay, she has a bad track record here in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah,
she's
everybody's talking about her. Everyone's
Uh,
saying about
yeah, because she with her she basically got kicked off of the time, kicked out of the Times. Okay, because she how can I say? In fact, for lack of, I'm just gonna say she's what you call a Zionist.
Hmm.
Okay, she's a Zionist, and things have gotten so bad that see there was a time when you can be, I guess, pro-Israel or whatever, and oh, put it this way, you could be a person that said, well, I believe that both sides in the Middle East have a right to exist.
Hmm.
Okay, if you said something like, "Well, I don't like what Israel is doing," especially with the Zionists that they have running things now, it's gotten to the point where you're considered anti-Semitic if you don't believe in Zionism. Okay, when Zionism is just another word for being right wing in Israel. So she got kicked off the Times. So now that this guy from which call that his father started is going to take over CBS, he's putting her in charge.
yeah. Ellison.
Ellison.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is that's why morality and ethical centers on shows is important because regardless of whatever other show that you may see on cable, more people are going to watch the network shows because they're there and they're free.
Hmm.
People are going to watch those shows. So we saw a show on HBO. It was called what was the name of the show with Mark Ruffalo, Penelope? Uh,
Task.
Task.
Yeah, task. Yeah, right.
That show has a moral center because you have deeply flawed people, but they make choices based on their circumstances. It's like it's like you have criminals who have morality. They'll do a thing, but they won't do other things because it's just wrong. It's just wrong
Hmm.
to do. And now you have a criminal who's in the White House who is doing things that are criminal that criminals wouldn't do because they had too much honor.
Hmm.
And you don't see that in the shows that are on network television. You don't see that moral center anymore, whether it be a Western or a comedy or a drama. You see more conservative shows where, the parents are always right, the children are wrong. You see Blue Bloods, and you see a thousand CSIs and a
Mm-hmm.
thousand spinoff from Law and Orders. And you see these shows, and they're there for a reason. And they reach more eyeballs than a really good, morally centered HBO or
Mm-hmm.
you know Apple TV show. They're just they're just the way it is. And so you have a lot of people that they're being encouraged to have a moral center, and the majority of us are just encouraged to look out for ourselves and not give a damn about others.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't blame that all on television shows. I mean, let's face it, the internet is a blessing and a curse, and these days it's more of a curse because anybody with a laptop or a phone, can get on the internet and pitch stuff on that has absolutely positively no moral compass at all. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just ask that supposed influencer that's about to get maybe 5 to 10 years jail in Korea, Johnny Somali. Okay, that boy
Okay.
has that boy has no moral center or ethics at all.
I
But
I don't know
but
the story. That was so. What is his
Okay, he's supposedly called himself a blogger, influencer, whatever from Minnesota, and he has this thing where he goes to other countries and just does obnoxious stuff to the residents of the country out in public. Okay, and what it was, first he went to Japan and was aggravating them, and they kicked him out. Then I think he went to some other countries at it. So anyway, he ended up in Korea, and what really got him into the hot water was there's a statue of a Korean woman sitting down, and the statue is in honor of
you
Okay.
come in really kind of fuzzy for me. I don't know if everybody else for me it's kind of
Yeah,
a little
it's
fuzzy.
off and on. Yeah.
Yeah.
um yeah, the statue was in honor of what they call comfort women.
Yes.
Okay, now the comfort women, they're the women that basically were forced into prostitution by the Japanese during the Japanese occupation
Mm-hmm.
in World War II. So he went up to the statue and he was doing a lot of lewd stuff to the statue. He was licking the statue's face, and
Why would they do something like that?
because he felt that he he can monetize his, I guess, Facebook and other platform sites by the more outrageous stuff he would do, the more he would get viewers. Okay. And it got to the point where at one point he was acting up. He was walking down the street in Korea. Some guy came up and punched him in the face.
Wow.
Then he was running around drunk in his underwear in Korea. He was harassing Korean women. So finally they arrested him, and he's in jail now, and he's looking at even 5 to 10 years.
Well, that should happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should happen. But you
So
got somebody like George Santos who got pardoned by the person in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
This individual was a congressperson. He won his election by fraud. He continued to fraudulently say things, just blatant outright lies, just
Mm-hmm.
blatantly outright lies. And so there's no line anymore. Somebody told me where you can find lines where you can say, okay, that's enough.
no, it's none.
The line is being erased and redrawn on a daily basis.
No, it's none. But what I'm trying to say is that most of that line has been obliterated on social media and the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, I
yeah,
mean that's what
it's all together, right? It's all.
But no, but by the same token, because everybody can take their camera, there are people trying out there to reinforce some kind of moral law that, people making little videos. Some are horrible, some you can tell are AI written and voiced, but there's others that actually have take the time and get actors, and they do act out their little the small, I shouldn't say little morality, small morality plays, and they're getting big views. So by
What
the
kind of
same,
show
there
are
is
you watching?
good, there is bad. A lot of people now are turning away from everybody. That's why a lot of the young people get their news. They start their news hunt by watching late night TV shows and then go researching to figure out what's really going on.
Well, I
And
mean, Jimmy,
shouldn't be
you watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know who was watching that show before he got taken off.
before.
But you watch his YouTube views that he get now. They over
Mhm.
two, each 15-minute episode, each 15-minute opening that he has is well over 2 million now. He never got that kind of those kind of views before.
Oh, 74 million now plus. They're all getting, yeah, and same with Colbert. But people are realizing, young people have already been more cynical than us older folk
Well,
because they were able to cross check references.
my thing is this, and I'm sounding cynical among young people. That's great that they're getting this. Now go out and fucking vote, or vote for the right choice. So that's if they're 18 and 19 years old, maybe they can't hold an elected office. And they're not old enough to hold an elected office, or maybe their resume is thin. Let's give them the right choices to make. Let's
Hmm.
make delineation clear. Let's not be.
Sadly enough,
He's
I hate to say it, but that choice is up to them.
the internet didn't save us from this monstrosity that's in the White House now. Young people didn't save us from the monstrosity that's in the White House right now. As James said, the internet is a curse, is a blessing and a curse, along with what we see on a daily, network news and network shows. They're along with it. We can't just dispatch this thing that's happening to us and hope that young people come to save us.
Well, you know what? Whether we like it or not, but I have come to the conclusion as uh, a person at the tail end of the baby boom that it's just out of my hands. This is out of my hands. It's up to the X's and the Y's and the millennials and the alphas and well, I think I went a little ahead of myself and the Z's. It's this is their world. This is their world, and as much as we want morality plays, hopefully with I guess this new technique that or way that Sonya's talking about, hopefully it'll it'll catch on. But I've just come to the conclusion that this is out of my hands. See, I can I back in the day I can pretty much tell which way the wind was blown politically,
Hmm.
but nah, I can't no more, and that's because my I hate to sound morbid, but my time has passed. My time has passed, and as far as far as Trump goes, we need to if we're gonna blame somebody, we ourselves in New York need to take the blame because we just saw him as a character, a city character. Okay, and also television needs to take the blame because had he, I mean, come on, if it wasn't for the Apprentice, he wouldn't even
Second
be a
thought, yeah.
yeah, second thought. He was just a character, a New York City character that time had passed him
Hmm.
by. You know, So
People thought The Apprentice was real.
Yeah.
yeah,
They thought it was real. In New York, he was a joke with a cruel punchline.
yeah.
That the ad he took out on the Central Park Five. Nobody mentions that anymore.
He
No,
never retracted it.
no, he never retracted it.
And
And
the largest civil rights fair housing case in U.S. history. Nobody mentions that. That guy that did that, is now there.
yeah, so I mean, it's it's up it's up to this generation out here
We
because you know, again, my time is past.
Well, I don't know. I think that a lot of us, to say, okay, this generation, it's their thing, but how do you expect somebody to say, okay, it's your thing? We just throw it in their laps. We haven't prepared them for it.
right. We
Yes.
don't teach critical thinking. We don't teach
No.
any kind of history accurately.
No.
They need the tools to make those decisions.
Exactly.
And the options, because the thing is, what options do you have? For instance, you have Maine. In Maine, you have a 79-year-old up against a 77-year-old, or you have
Yeah, they should not be running for anything. I mean,
It,
it's like you have to be reasonable about your longevity, and it just doesn't make any sense to me.
but they're hollering and screaming about now Donnie being 34 years old and not having a thin resume.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
see,
Meanwhile, you got Chuck Schumer, who's like 150 years old, and he's a Senate majority. He's the
what
majority leader in the Senate.
That
this this goes back to what I'm saying. Yeah, these are people, their time has passed. I mean, look at the other day with Chuck Grassley. He's going freaking deaf.
Hmm.
Okay, the reporters asking him questions. He's like, what? What? They said, well, what about the budget? And he said, what about Gidget? So
Uh,
but we're not like with the morality plays, we're not teaching our younger people. We're not giving them the tools to realize that they have to start local. Everybody always oh, you could be president. How about if you just run for your school board and have them take out some of those banned book laws or
yeah.
those history restrictions? And nobody focuses on how I shouldn't say nobody focuses. The messaging is inconsistent on how important younger people can be to local things, which would then lead to bigger things.
We hope.
Such
And the
such
thing,
that and such that you want to go to quote unquote bigger things, because
yeah,
these
Right.
things locally are important things.
right.
You know,
Mhm.
I
And
mean,
the other thing, Penelope, as you said often, is the fact that you got the 80s and 90-year-old, and we're talking about a new generation. Where was our chance?
yeah, those
They
of
just
us are
passed over
60s
us.
and
I mean,
50s, man, they just jumped right over us.
because
You
these
know,
black folks wouldn't get out of office.
yeah, people of my parents' age, you know, would not get up off the pot, and they're still there now, still
no,
there.
I mean, if you probably looked at a lot of people in Congress, okay, you probably find a the majority of people in Congress probably in their 60s and 50s. It's just that some of them are the wrong 50s and 60s. And going back to what you were saying, Sonia, about locally, well, that's what's been working in New York. Okay, we've had a bunch of up and coming young people getting into politics. Okay, getting into government, and they're the ones. That's why you have Maureen Donnie running
Hmm.
for mayor.
And I just looked
Okay,
at what they're saying. What you were saying, the median age for the House is 57 and a half. Median age for the Senate is 64.7. So
yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah. We're there. Us that are the tail end of the baby boom and the beginning of Generation X. We're there. It's just that you have some freaking holdouts.
And there are a lot of
Okay,
Should be a lot of them. I remember Jesse Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that he was really going to be someone that was going to be a political, he was going
Mhm.
to me, he was better than Obama. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think because of his father, he never
Yeah.
got off the ground, really got off the ground.
Yeah, because his
Because-
father did not want to step off and let him be himself. He wanted to take credit for anything that his son did and screwed him up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You
And
know,
Jesse Jackson Jr., if he had lived, he would have been our age, around our age.
Mhm.
And so the thing is like you once again, someone told me, I asked somebody a question. We are the Jesse Jacksons now. We are the people that usually come out and put together protests, etc. And this person told me, which is more cynical than I even thought of, was the fact that black people, for the most part, if they're making a little bit of money or some money, they're not interested in any protests. Their needs are taken care of for the most part. They're not in any danger of losing whatever. And maybe that's why the mainstream media is putting black people as a picture of, the people that are being hurt the most by these cuts and the government shutdown. Because maybe they're trying to get us to come out and do something, and you're just not interested in doing it.
but I tell you here in New York,
Yeah, yeah. I believe all of it's just a trick to try to get you to come out and march and stuff, so they can hit you with a can of tear gas and put you in chains or something and lock you up and justify martial law. That's what I think.
It's like black people, these other people, they say it was mostly older white people, and they
Mhm.
know how to protest the right way. You darkies with your Black Lives Matter stuff want to be breaking glasses, breaking store glass, and looting and doing all this other extra stuff. Let me show you
Well,
the
I
right
mean,
way to
yeah,
protest.
but the reality is that if you are a person, black people, young, older, whatever, that it was the cops and people of that ilk who were out breaking the glass and doing the vandalism and trying to pretend that it was us. So, well, we're not going to give them the opportunity to pretend. We're not going to show up. So, no, you're not going to vandalize stuff and
and
pretend it was us. We're not
you
doing
you
it.
you had certain white supremacist groups
Hmm.
that were doing it too. Okay,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it was. I think it was. In fact, I think it was Texas where they showed this white guy go around with a hammer during Black Lives Matter protests, breaking glass, and a brother saw him and said, like, "Yo, dude, what are you doing?" And the white guy ran off. And also, you got to factor in people that are anarchists, okay?
Hmm.
Because anarchists don't give a damn about. Anarchists are funny. I could never understand. They don't care about Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, communist, Nazis, socialists,
Hmm.
national socialists. They just nihilists. They just want to see shit burn.
Hmm.
You know. Um, right now, this mayor's election in New York is historic because it's a changing of the guard. Okay, it's a changing of the guard. These younger people in New York City want to go in another direction. Meanwhile, you have the old guard, like Cuomo, who I was going to vote for
Yeah.
and, until he started acting up, and, and now I can't. And the only way I would have voted for Adams is if I was dead. I guess I don't know.
Brain dead.
You know, even that. You
Well,
know,
but it's the thing. Here's the thing, and let me get off point a little bit. Mom Donnie has said a bunch of things that sound really good to me, as far as looking at things and considering things. And so the old school wants to say, no, you need to tell us exactly what you're going to do and what time
So
you're going to do
why?
it. And
Why?
meanwhile, you got a Congress, a Republican Congress, Republican Senate, and you ask them what their plan is for healthcare. They'll say we're working on it.
Yeah, for the
So, but
past, I
but
mean,
but the
nine
thing is,
years.
the thing is about Mamdani. and I hate to say this, I hate to say it, and I hope it's not right, but I think it is. But he's going to come in office with a lot of hope and a lot of
Hmm.
aspirations. And the question for us is, in my cynical nature, is how are you going to disappoint us?
No, I guarantee that he's going to disappoint me. I guarantee he's going to
Mm-hmm.
disappoint me. Okay, because first of all, he doesn't have any experience. To tell you the truth, I don't think he has a clue to, to what to how to run City Hall. But you
Well,
know
I mean,
what?
but he does have some background. He is a politician. He has been in
Yeah,
politics.
but you know what? I don't care about his faults. I don't care about his.
Okay,
I don't
I
care
agree.
because I've, like I said, certain things Cuomo said, and Cuomo has become such a pan. He's such a cute panda bear. You know, he panders to everybody. Such a cute little panda bear. He reminds me of the the panda bear my mother got me with the S&M green stamps. But I can't with him, and I don't even like I don't even like Adams in my line of vision.
Mm.
Okay, I don't even like him in my line of vision. He's this.
What has he done? What has he done that was brave? What stance that he's taken to
Yeah.
say, I'm going to do this for people because I believe it's a good thing to do, not because it's going to benefit me. And that's a question that people get, like the current resident of the White House. They get them in in his crosshairs. They have questions to ask, and they never ask him that. What have you done that benefits the American people specifically? Name
No,
five things that didn't benefit you personally.
I tell you, Adams has what Adams has done is he's brought crime down. He also managed to get more money for education. Okay, and he tried to work for affordable housing, but all of that shit went in the fucking toilet because as soon as he took his hand off that Bible after taking the oath of office for mayor, that's when the stealing started.
Mm-mm-mm.
He's, I mean, anytime you got somebody in your administration talking about, oh well, he better give me something else because I'm tired of just the gravy. I'm tired of
Mm-mm-mm.
just getting it.
So what's wrong with
Yeah,
those people?
but the thing
He,
is, you find the true. Mike Tyson. Oh, Mike Tyson quote: "Everybody got a plan until they get hit."
yeah,
You find the true nature of people when they get wobbly in the legs or something bad happens to them or something happens and not within their plans. So hooray for you to get personally get crime down and personally get affordable housing and all that stuff like that. But when things get rough and you got a guy in the White House who's going to say he's going to put his thumb on the city of New York, what do? Do you stand up
no.
or do you bend down and kiss his foot?
Okay,
Hmm.
first of all,
That's the real you.
he didn't he didn't bend down and kiss Trump's foot. He bent down and licked Trump's beep, beep. Okay, so let's stop with the foot stuff. He he had a ring of chocolate around his lips.
Oh, have
Oh,
mercy.
come on now. That's nasty.
Yeah, come on,
Not
man.
chocolate.
That is not chocolate.
I don't even like to see the man's face these days. I'm telling you, I don't like to
Mm-mm.
see his face. You want a morality play? Yeah, well, you're not gonna get it from him, okay? Because he's disgusted, and
Yeah,
then you're gonna get up
he's a
there and
perfect
say,
morality.
"Oh, I'm not gonna criticize Trump in
Yeah,
public."
he's a perfect morality play. He's a perfect one because he's a great
Mm-hmm.
example of immoral actions. He's perfect for that. That people talk a lot, blah blah blah, and absolutely when push come to shove, when things get rough, he's the kind of person that would capitulate and said, I met with Hitler. He wasn't a bad guy at all. He had a
Yeah,
little mustache and stuff. It was
yeah,
kind of
It's
cute.
very cute.
Yeah.
yeah. I listen. I just can't with him. I
Mm-mm.
can't. In fact, that's why now that I look at it, I'm glad that I was going through radiation treatment and didn't vote the first time he ran for office, so I couldn't vote for him. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I don't. Like I said, I don't even. When I see his face in the paper, I get sick.
But
Mm-mm.
do you remember the choices that New York City had for mayor?
At that time, it came down to him and Curtis.
It was
But
horrible.
yeah,
It was horrible choices, and that's what I'm saying. We hope on young people, and we hope on people our own age. They never
Right,
got a
right,
shot. We never got a shot because grandma wouldn't get off the seat.
and
So
because there
it's
are a
like
lot of these roles or positions that were out there and available that people needed, or that these people, even with the ones who were just occupying space, they didn't bother to try to mentor
train
anybody.
anybody. I mean,
Yeah,
we
or,
have a
what
yeah.
what
congresswoman.
what
We had a
well you
congresswoman from my own district. She
Mhm.
died while in office.
well you know what
She's 84 years old. It's like, come on, get the
you,
fuck off.
well you
Yeah, exactly.
well you know what me and Adams are the same age. Me
It's
and
hard to
Adams
believe.
Me and Adams are the same age. I'm 65. He's 65. So as far as New York City goes, our generation had our chance, and he crapped the bed.
Oh,
One
Okay.
guy,
he was just the wrong person. That's
yeah,
all.
one dude.
He's
Nah,
just the wrong person.
yeah, get out of it, one dude. You
No,
know,
no, we have no. Trust me, we have some people in New York City that come on, you're too old. That's like what's her name? Oh God, I forget her name. Jerry Nadler took over her congressional seat. Actually, yeah, actually he bullguarded her out of that seat. So
Mhm.
when she was running for election, I'm sitting in my house and I get a knock at the door, and it's a black woman and it's her. I can't remember Madeline something, and she just said, "Oh, I'm running for office," and mind you, it was the black woman doing most of the talking.
Mhm.
And I'm looking, well, why is this this lady here with this old old lady? All right. So then I closed the door and I looked because I had some of her flyers, and I looked. I said, "Well, Mississippi got there, and that's Madeline, whatever her name is. She must have took this picture like 20 years ago." Cause
That's terrible.
I'm like, "Oh my God, she needs to listen. She needs to give it up." So
Wow.
I understand what y'all saying, cause some case in point. Remember Diane Feinstein in
Oh
California?
my gosh! Don't even get me on Dianne Feinstein. Yeah, I could. Yeah, she stayed way past her due date, man.
what are you
Way
doing?
past
What are you
sell
doing?
by date, use
You're
by
not
date.
grooming anyone to take your
Yeah.
place. You don't have any more because you're too scared of losing power. So you're
Yep.
not grooming anyone.
Right.
You think about the presidents that we have are all over 70 years of age. It's
Yep.
like that is ridiculous to speak. Mitch McConnell, who everybody hates, they say, "Oh, Mitch McConnell tripped and fell in the halls of Congress the other day." He didn't trip and fall. He collapsed.
Mhm.
He
And he was like
collapsed.
losing
Yeah,
his legs,
he
and they
didn't. He
were
didn't trip.
yeah.
Stop the media with this nonsense about he tripping. And
Oh,
so
remember when he had a senior moment in front of the reporters?
Mhm. And
yeah, all
just
of a sudden he
stopped.
forgot what he was saying, or just not forgot, just stopped talking.
Yeah, just stopped.
Well,
Everybody
since,
stood there and looked at him.
well, since we have less than 5 minutes to go, the moral of the story is we have to train our kids on the morality plays and the options and teach things that local starts that bring. You can make mountains out of molehills if you stay on the track.
And we got to we
Yeah.
got to we got to
Yeah,
expect
but I think
more.
also the thing is this, and like we said, the thing about watching all these shows on MeTV, some of the older shows that you can try to dig up and watch and see the difference between what we were watching when we came up compared to what people are now watching. So it's a good idea to go back and check on some of those things if you
And
can.
demand more.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
demand
yeah.
more
Right,
from our
right.
entertainment rather than something
Hmm.
like a show like Jackass where a guy jumps and kicks another dude in the head. And it's
Right,
so
right.
funny. It's so funny.
But you know what? What have you learned from that? Just a guy can kick some other guy in the head.
But the only way we're going to do it is if we do it. We can't depend on anybody else. We
Well, I
can't
mean,
Well,
depend on Hollywood. Hollywood's just going to
But
go
we
for
got
where the
to
money
because
is.
yeah,
So we need to show them that the money is in something else.
but the thing is
yeah.
though, Sonia,
I've
is that
said that many a
what
time.
the guy in the White House has taught us is that the airways belong to us. They belong to us. Let's start flexing our muscle
Hmm.
and saying this belongs to us, and you don't get to put on whatever crap that you want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Show them that the money isn't there and they will stop doing it.
So many that damn
They're
licenses
following the money.
follow
Yeah,
their
they're
license.
following the money. You have to show them that it's more profitable to do something else or less profitable to do what they're continuing
It
to
can't
do.
be that. It
That's
can't
the
be
only
that.
way they
If you
turn
follow
around.
the
I don't
money,
know.
I,
I
if
don't
I,
know. I don't
if you
know. I
follow
don't
the money,
know.
it's off a cliff. That's where money
Yeah,
no,
I
goes.
don't
I
know.
said it.
I
I
didn't
said it a
say
long.
follow the money. I said show them that what we want is more profitable.
That's a that's
Right.
a that's a
Okay,
fool's
y'all. And they
errand,
said
I
other
think.
guys said, but well, think about this and keep this on mind, and be like next week maybe come back around and think about that. What do we do now that we know that it exists? So what do we do? But we got to get going because we're down to those last few minutes. Then so that we got. So we really thank you all for joining us. Hope you'll be back here next week. Here in the other hood, and take care of yourselves. And
No, I
hasta
want to
luego.
stay.
Start